Hi everyone, welcome to the Book Chronicles. I'm Melanie.
I'm Shannon.
Hello.
Hi.
We're gonna have some more fun today. Hopefully we'll go get us something to eat and get us some coffee and do a little reading today. I'm going to finish my Irish literature book and see if I can enjoy that. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Book Chronicles. I'm Melanie here. Shannon is taking a break today. She is very tired from all that has went on in the past couple of weeks with her mother passing away. We tried to cheer up by going to an event called See Ya Fest where we met some YA authors, and I thought I would talk about that a little bit and give you some Irish literature suggestions. I found a really cool Irish literature book at Barnes & Noble. It's Irish Fairy and Folk Tales. I loved the binding and the cover is just really awesome, and I've always wanted to read some Irish folk tales. I'm Celtic and Shannon is Irish as well, so it's really nice to go back to our heritage, our roots from where we came from. The next book that I have is A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man and the Dubliners. It's by James Joyce. In this story, we have Stephen Dedalus, and it portrays his childhood in Dublin. The plot revolves around Stephen's emancipation from his family, religion, and Ireland itself. The book gives us insight into the author James Joyce's childhood. It portrays Joyce's sexual awakening and struggle for religious freedom and rebellion. Or the second book to this is called Ulysses. It is a partner book. I think it's a sequel. But Ulysses is one of the greatest novels of the 20th century. Has had a profound influence on modern fiction in a series of episodes covering the course of a single day in June 16th, 1904. The novel traces the movements of Leopold Bloom and Stephen Dedalus through the streets of Dublin. So this is the second story that follows Stephen and his experience in Ireland. The next book is a mystery book that I thought would be very interesting to read. I have not read a mystery that was based in Ireland, and these books are written by Irish authors or they're set in Ireland. Now, this book is Tana French in the Woods. Tana French in the Woods is about a small Dublin suburb in the summer of 1984. A mother begins to call her children home, but on a warm evening, 3 children do not return from home from the dark, silent woods. When the police arrive, they find only one of the children, or unable to recall a single detail of the previous hours. 20 years later, the found boy, Robin Bryan, is a detective on the Dublin murder squad and keeps his past a secret. But when a 12-year-old girl is found murdered in the same woods, he and Detective Cassie Maddox, his partner and closest friend, find themselves investigating a case chillingly similar to the previous unsolved mystery. So I'm very excited to read this book because this was actually suggested by someone at Barnes & Noble when I told them that I wanted to read books from Ireland, Irish literature, books written by Irish authors. This was the main book that she suggested. And the next book is a book that Shannon wants to read in honor of her brother. She has not read this book. I don't know anything about this book, but it is Angela's Ashes, a memoir about childhood, resilience, and the triumphant power of storytelling. So she wanted to read it in honor of her brother. So I thought that would be really cool. This next book is called Everything in This Country Must Go. Book, Colin McCain turns to the troubles in Northern Ireland and reveals the reverberation of political tragedy and the intimate relationship between children and parents. Title story, a teenage girl must choose between her allegiance to her Catholic father and gratitude to the British soldiers who have saved the family's horse. The young hero of Hunger Strike, a novella, tries to replicate the experience of his uncle, an IRA prisoner on hunger strike. And in Wood, a small boy does his part for the Protestant marches, concealing his involvement from his sick father. So this is basically the story of the Protestant and the Catholic religion, the turmoil that went on in Ireland between the two bases of this Christian religion. So this should be an interesting read. I also have a book that I've heard a lot of good things about. It takes place in Dublin. It's called The Heart's Invisible Furies. It follows the story of Cyril Avery, who was adopted after being born out of wedlock to a teenage young girl who was cast out of her community. Cyril was adopted by this eccentric Dublin couple. And it goes on to tell the story of his life. So this should be very good to read. I do think there are some LGBTQ mentions and nods to the LGBTQ community in this book. I'm not sure. I am interested in seeing what this book is going to be about and if I will enjoy it or not, because I've heard a lot of good things about this. And another book suggestion that was suggested to me that I would like to read, but I don't know that I'll get to all these books on my TBR for the month. But if I don't get to them this year, I'm going to have Irish Literature Month every year in March. So, An Irish Country Love Story by Patrick Taylor. It's the winter of 1967. The snow is on the ground in the colorful Irish village of Ballybucklaboo. But the chilly weather can't stop love from warming hearts all over the country. Not just a love between a man and a woman, as with young Dr. Barry Laverty and his fiancée, Sue Nolan, who are making plans to start a new life together, but also the love of an ailing prisoner for the faithful dog that's gone missing. The love of the local gentry for the great estate they are on the verge of losing, or Dr. Fangle Flaherty O'Reilly's deep and abiding love for his longtime home. For decades, ever since the war, number 1 Main Street, Ballybucklaboo, and has housed O'Reilly and his practice. An unexpected turn of events threatens to drive O'Reilly from the home for good unless the entire village can rally behind their doctor and prove the love really can conquer all. So this should be very interesting to read. And I'm looking forward to this book. I also was suggested another book that I'm hoping I can get to some of these this year, but if not, we'll get to them next year. This is An Irish Doctor in Love at Sea by Patrick Taylor, and it is, I'm assuming, the prequel to this book. It follows Dr. Fingal O'Reilly and his struggles in Ireland. So this should be a good read. Then we also have some books that Shannon and I were very excited about. I'm sorry she's not here to talk about them with me, but two of the three books, and I'll let her talk about the other book. But this book, we got to speak with the author, Jeff Garvin. He's a very awesome person to meet. He's very cool. He signed our book. He says, Melanie and Shannon don't blend in. And this is a story about Raleigh Cavanaugh is many things. Punk rock, snarky, rebellious, and gender fluid. Some days Raleigh identifies as a boy and others identifies as a girl. So this should be very interesting. When we heard him speak, we thought, wow, this is a really cool guy. I would love to see what he writes and how he writes. So this is a gender fluid book. I'm very interested in learning more about gender fluidity and intersex and things of that nature. So I can't wait to read this book. Then we have The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. We met Mackenzie Lee, and it was really awesome. She signed the book, Shannon and Melanie, my darling. And then she signed Mackenzie Lee. So that was really awesome, and really enjoyed meeting Mackenzie Lee. She was a very sweet person. She is extremely intelligent. So was Jeff. But they were so down to earth and kind. And I know where we live in Tennessee, not many writers come to our area. So it was very nice to see such amazing writers come to our neck of the woods and speak to us. So until next time, Shannon and I wish you peace, love, books, and coffee, and many blessings. Bye.